Hello, everybody. This is September 21st, and I'm reviewing what we're doing on our slides this week for scientific method. So remember, we're using slides as a notebook, but also as information to interactively work with. So where we're going to find that September 1st, 21st to 25th, down here where it says slides, we're going to open that up. Let me go over how we are going to work with this. So you'll get used to it just like anything else. And I'm going to try to be consistent with using this once a week for some of our instruction. So how this first page works is make sure you stay in this instead of the presentation. Because if we get into presentation mode, things aren't going to move around, okay? It just moves the slides. So that gets a little bit confusing sometimes, okay? So stay in this mode. Now, depending on what you would like to be able to work with is in the middle of your keyboard can expand this, okay? So you can be able to figure out how to get your screen a little bit bigger. So we can work on that. But let me go through this with you. So what we're going to do is when you're done with each section, so the watch it part, when you're done with that, you can drag and click and slide that over, and then you're done. Okay, so you can kind of keep track a little bit at times. So I haven't done that yet, so I can take that back. Okay, so as I move to the next slide, where we're going to answer everything, so these are the questions, where we're going to answer everything. So we are actually going to click, and it's going to take us to a 4-minute, 20-second scientific method
when you first took science class
overview.
School, you probably learned
okay, so I'm not going to go through all of this because you're going to be able to work on this yourself. Okay. So I'm going to click off that. So you have about 4 minutes of that. Then answer the questions. So what is the scientific method? So you're going to come up here and then you're actually going to put an answer right into that text box that's already provided for you. Then according to the video, what are the 6 steps of the scientific method? So put your answer in here, okay? And then you're going to explain why the scientific method examples are here, okay? Remember that slides automatically saves things, so you don't have to do anything else to save it, but move on to the next question, okay? So if you wanted to go back to the lab room, so that is where it goes back to slide 1. It's hyperlinked so that you could say that you completed it, okay? Now we have the reading part. So you are going to go through and read this, okay? You do have some tools that'll read it for you as well, and we'll kind of key on those things over time. But right now, today, I'm just trying to get you to understand and hopefully not get lost or confused in the work that we're going to do. So jot down notes and help draw what will help you remember the meaning of the words. You can use sketch, or scribble button on the toolbar. So here's where that is. So you can either just put in the words, but if you want to draw something, right here and down on the scribble, that allow you to actually scribble and write, okay? So I don't want that on there, but I can do that. So you would find that on your toolbar, and it would typically be a line. And so that in Scribble would allow you to work with that, okay? So another, technology, learning the tools that we have, okay? And replace them. We're always going to make mistakes, and we can always fix them by going back, right? Okay, that's part 1. And then part 2, doing the same thing, answering the questions. Remembering the bold words are the words we really need to focus on, so our vocabulary, okay, and where we need to have that. So we want to have independent variable and dependent variable. So what are ways you can kind of sum those up for your notes? So the read it part. So after we got done doing this, so we can see the tab, read it, okay? And now we want to give answers. So your answer, just put the letter, okay? All you have to do is put the letter of it in the correct answer. So number 1, number 2, and number 3, okay? So just put the answers there, all right? So the explore it part. So on the Explorer part, we're going to make some observations. So make some observations about the 3 pictures of bananas at the bottom. What questions do you know, do you now have about these bananas? Okay. Now that you've defined the problem, let's see if we can make some predictions. So some things that I observed are, so that's where you would have number 1. One question I have is, and so think of some sort of a question. Okay, what does it taste like? How long does it take to go brown? Whatever it is. Then the if-then statement. Hopefully as 8th graders, you are pretty comfortable with this. Here's an example. If I increase the amount of sunlight, then plants will grow larger. Now, will they grow larger? Will they get brown faster? What kind of questions might we have? Again, just working on the scientific method. Part 2 of the Explore It. So a typical science experiment, you would gather some research about your hypothesis before beginning the experiment, okay? What would you change in order to test your hypothesis? So we're working on what would you change? This is called the independent variable. And remember, we're only changing one thing so it doesn't get confusing and we can identify exactly what we get from the outcome. So part 3 of the Explore It, we start talking about the dependent variables. So independent variable, dependent variable, and controlled variable is very important for our science testing, but just understanding those factors. It'll help you a lot when we start making our science experiments, okay? And understand the controlled variables. So then we want to analyze the data after we're done. So make a conclusion. And so these are all the steps that we had in our near product activities earlier. So this should just be a review. An example is right here. If I increase the amount of sunlight, the plants will grow larger. And again, putting your conclusion right over here. In conclusion, if I, so there's a little sentence starter already, and working on that. Now this one is organizing it. So we want to put things in the correct orders, okay? So you actually will click on it and look for the arrows, and then you can drag it to wherever you feel like it's going to work out, okay? So dragging, clicking all of those, getting them into the right spots, okay? So right up here in the upper right, it actually gives you a little bit of demonstration with that. Illustrate it. So here's something that's probably going to be a little challenging for some of us. You can figure it out right now to see what you want to do. So it's giving you the directions. Draw a diagram or flow chart of the scientific method, which helps you understand the entire process, including key terms and all the explanations. So that information you found right here, okay? But you want to see the next page. Here's the options of how you want to do this. So several ways you can do this. So draw on your own paper. So you can draw it on your own paper, take a picture of it, then upload the picture to this slide, okay? And with that, you would just upload it to your computer, and then you would insert and then image, and then you're uploading from your own computer, or if you saved it in your drive, okay? Or your photos, that's where you would insert that, okay? And then it would insert it there. So you can draw your own. You can draw with an app. So you have Google Draw, you have Paint, or any other graphics app, okay? Or you can draw your image on the paper. So once again, if you wanted to use the scribble tool, you can actually scribble and draw something on there and be able to paste things. So it's kind of up to you. If you wanted to go to Google Draw, then basically go to your Google Drive. So you'd open up, you would go to your Google Drive, and then right here where you'd go new and more, then you can get into Google Drawings. And I'm not sure if you've already had experience with that. And then you can title it, save it, and then upload it into there, okay? So again, a lot of different options that hopefully you'll get more comfortable with as we are moving through, okay? Okay, so that's the illustrative part, and doing the best we can right now. This is the first week of trying to insert or put pictures in, or however you're going to input that information. So just trying to achieve that. Then assess it. So at the end, again, we're putting the answers over in the top left. So read the questions, put the answers over here on the left, okay? And then the assessor part 2. So now it's filling in some of the blanks, and what you have is down in the lower left, you have a word bank, okay? So 4 through 8 has a word bank. So put those into the right areas up in here in the answer sheet. So you have a word bank that goes, where do they fit the best, okay? And then mission accomplished. Then you're done with this. So hopefully that will help you review for the scientific method and get ready for the quiz on Friday. Just understanding the order and understanding what the scientific method actually means. So that is it for today. And hopefully this becomes a lot easier for you. Let me know if you have any struggles or if things aren't working correctly. Then what you're going to do is you're going to just push the turn in button. You don't have to do anything other than that in your Google Classroom. So after you've completed this, then what's going to happen is you're just going to turn that in. Okay. Hopefully that is what will work for this.